Have you noticed how some AA games are humiliating AAA titles so hard it almost feels like bullying? While the big releases show up broken, expensive, and full of empty promises, these ones deliver everything without making noise. Today I'm showing you 20 games that prove talent and creativity easily crush marketing and oversized budgets. And fair warning, there are titles here that make a lot of AAA games look like poorly optimized graphic demos. So brace yourself, because the embarrassment today isn't on the indies, it's on the giants. The Alters is that kind of game that starts simple. You're alone in a damaged sci-fi base and suddenly turns into a full Black Mirror episode where the protagonist is you. Literally multiple versions of you. The game basically asks, what if your worst enemy was a copy of you but emotionally stable? That one hurts. The magic is in the Alters, alternate clones created from the different lives you could have lived. The engineer who gave up his dreams, the athlete who never existed, the depressed you, the optimistic you, the chaotic one, the brilliant one, all living in the same base, each useful in a different way. It's like managing an entire team of yous who somehow make better decisions than you in real life. Gameplay mixes tense management, heavy narrative, and constant moments of, dude, why is this other me judging me? You maintain the base, gather resources, and try to stop that massive star outside from turning everything into cosmic barbecue. And the game does all this with suspense, moral dilemmas, and that constant vibe of everyone is emotionally wrecked, but let's survive anyway. The Alters is smart, original, and sticks in your mind long after you close it. And the scariest part, realizing the best version of you is literally someone else. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 is one of those games that grabs you in the first minute with its absurdly beautiful art direction and then wins you over completely once you realize the turn-based combat is so stylish it should be illegal. Everything here has personality, from the world shattered by the ephemeral Lady 33 to every enemy that looks like they walked out of a surreal gothic fashion show. The story revolves around a cycle where every year the lady wipes out another age of humanity. You're part of the expedition trying to end this, and the vibe is pure urgency, like save the world or kiss your next birthday goodbye. It's dramatic, but in that good, gripping way. Combat is where it really shines. Fast turns, action-timed attacks, precise dodges, and a synergy system that makes each fight feel choreographed. It's not just button mashing, it's almost a mini-game inside the game, and it works incredibly well. You dodge, block, react, all with that feeling of, if I mess this up, the game will absolutely roast me. And the soundtrack ties everything together with a tragic, epic tone. Expedition 33 has soul, style, and dangerously addictive combat. It's turn-based RPG done with personality and the kind of game you finish thinking, man, why don't more games go this route? South of Midnight is one of those games that hits you with style right away. It's dripping with Southern Gothic energy, swamps, creatures, folklore, and characters who look like they stepped straight out of a blues album cover. The whole world feels alive, strange, and oddly comforting, in a yeah, something in this swamp absolutely wants to eat me kind of way. You play as Hazel, a girl pulled into a twisted magical version of the American South, and this world does not play around. Every creature, from gentle giants to nightmare-fueled beasts, feels like a mix of folklore and fever dream. It's charming, but with that constant I should not be here tension that keeps everything sharp. The big hook is Hazel's weaving magic. You're not just fighting, you're literally stitching the world back together, fixing paths, shaping the environment, and using this thread-based power in combat. It feels fresh, almost like a mix of action, adventure, and platforming, and the animations are so smooth it should be a crime. The storytelling is slow burn but engaging, filled with characters who are wonderfully strange in the best ways. There's humor, heart, and those quiet beats where the game just lets the atmosphere breathe. South of Midnight stands out because it's confident, stylish, and genuinely different. It's the kind of game you finish and think, yeah, more studios should take risks like this. Kena Bridge of Spirits is one of those games that impresses you before you even understand what's going on. You take 2 steps and immediately think, dude, this is really an indie? Everything feels alive, detailed, and full of personality, and when the rots show up, that's it, instant love at first sight. Kena's journey mixes spirituality with that emotional tone that catches you off guard. It looks like a cute game, but the combat demands more than people expect. Dodging, bow shots, staff attacks, parries, everything flows well and has weight. It's not complicated, but it's sharper than it seems, and a few bosses genuinely test you. The environments are absurdly beautiful, with the look of a high-budget animated film. Every forest, village, and ruin feels handcrafted, and the rots steal the show constantly, helping in puzzles, boosting abilities, and doing animations that make any player smile mid-gameplay. The pacing is great, the soundtrack is emotional, and the game balances light moments with intense battles. It's not long, but it's the kind of experience you finish satisfied, like watching a great movie, short, direct, beautiful, and memorable. Kena is pure charm, simple where it needs to be, touching where it matters, and gorgeous the entire way through. An indie with AAA soul that proves you don't need millions to deliver something unforgettable. Ori and the Will of the Wisps wins you over fast. In just a few minutes, you're already locked into that world that looks like it was painted by hand. Strong colors, smooth animations, and a soundtrack that punches straight into your emotions. Movement is where the game truly shines. It's light, precise, fluid. You dash, jump, launch yourself through the map, and everything responds instantly. It feels like the controller disappears from your hand. When you unlock every ability, Ori becomes almost a spiritual lightning bolt, streaking across the screen. Combat also improves a lot compared to the first game. Now you have weapons, powers, and enemies that require more attention. Nothing complex, just enough to make each encounter fun and impactful. The story follows a strong emotional line. Silent moments that say everything. Scenes that catch you by surprise. Ori doesn't speak, but you feel every step of the journey, and the soundtrack helps tremendously, always kicking in at the perfect moment. And there's no secret here. The game is visually stunning. Every area has its own life, full of small details that make the world richer than you expect from a Metroidvania. It's the kind of environment where you stop for a second just to take it all in. Will of the Wisps delivers everything it promises: emotion, sharp gameplay, and an art direction few series can match. It's beautiful, intense, and leaves that sensation of having experienced something special. Still Wakes the Deep doesn't try to convince you of anything. It just throws you onto an oil platform in the middle of the ocean and waits for you to realize on your own that this is a terrible idea. Within minutes, everything starts failing. Lights, radio, structure, and your nerves too. From there, the game becomes a festival of dude run. Flooded hallways, jammed doors, and noises you absolutely don't want to identify. You have no weapon, no plan, and you're clearly not paid enough to deal with any of it. All you can do is run and hope the creature is busy with someone you've never met. Immersion works so well that you start walking slowly even though you know it won't help. Every sound feels like a warning. Every shadow becomes suspicion. Even the wind jump scares you. It's the kind of horror that doesn't need to scream to make you tense. It just exists, breathing down your neck. The characters help keep the tension high. Everyone sounds desperate, and the radio chatter has that energy of nobody knows what they're doing, but let's try not to die together. It's chaotic, but in a realistic way. The platform itself feels like a character. Everything groans, shakes, and threatens to collapse. Lights flicker, water rises, and you feel the entire structure pressing in on you. It's like the place is just as terrified as you are. Still Wakes the Deep is short, direct, and effective. It doesn't drag things out, it doesn't over-explain anything. It just throws you into a horrible situation and says good luck. And it works. You play tense from start to finish. Ghostrunner 2 is pure adrenaline. There's no warm-up, no chatter, no long tutorial. The game just throws you straight into the action and expects you to keep up or die trying. And honestly, you will die. A lot. But it's that good kind of death, the one that makes you want to hit retry immediately. Movement is the heart of everything. Fast, precise, razor sharp. You run on walls, slide, parkour your way through rooms, dodge bullets that pass a millimeter from your forehead, and still try to look stylish while doing it. When everything lines up, it feels like you're piloting an energy-driven cyber ninja. Combat follows the same spirit. One mistake and you're done. It's all about timing, reading attacks, and reacting instantly. You slice enemies in half with a katana that feels like it has its own attitude. And once you start mixing combos, abilities, and mobility, the whole thing turns into a deadly ballet running at 2x speed. The big addition here is the motorcycle, and it's insane. Ridiculous speed, impossible turns, and that delicious feeling that everything will explode if you blink at the wrong moment. Is it exaggerated? Absolutely, but it works and makes the game even more fun. The atmosphere is still fantastic, massive cities, neon everywhere, machines towering over you, and that broken future vibe that only enhances immersion. The electronic soundtrack keeps the momentum high and makes every encounter feel like an action music video. Ghostrunner 2 is exactly that. Fast, demanding, stylish, and addictive. If you enjoy challenges that reward actual skill, warm up your fingers because this game forgives no one, but every attempt is worth it. Disco Elysium doesn't feel like an RPG. It feels like a chaotic meeting inside your own head, and you're the completely unprepared president trying to run it. Right at the start, you wake up with no memory, no dignity, and a pride that clearly didn't survive the previous night. The game doesn't focus on combat, it focuses on choices. Every dialogue is a psychological battle. Every decision becomes internal chaos between your skills, which argue with you like exhausted coworkers. And the best part, they argue with each other. It's hilarious and tragic at the same time. Rivakal is a character of its own, sad, broken, full of weird people who have way too many strong opinions. And you need to solve a murder while dealing with much bigger problems. Politics, trauma, addiction, and the simple fact that your stomach hates you. The skill system is brilliant. They comment on everything, judge you, encourage terrible decisions, convince you to fight, philosophize, lie, or even dance in the middle of the street. And the game lets you. That's the fun. You truly embody a wrecked detective trying to look competent. The writing is the star. Funny, sharp, deep when it wants to be, and stupid when it needs to be. It's text that hugs you and pushes you at the same time. And you keep going, because the chaos oddly makes sense. Disco Elysium is unique. There's nothing like it. It's strange, clever, and wonderful. The kind of game you finish thinking, okay, I'm not sure I solved the case, but I definitely solved something inside myself. Nine Souls starts by silently asking, do you know how to parry, or are you just ready to die repeatedly? The game shows no mercy, it's fast, precise, and throws you into the madness immediately. Every strike demands attention. Every enemy feels trained to humiliate you, and when you land that perfect parry, man, you feel like pausing just to celebrate. When you fail, you swear you'll never panic press the button again. The setting is such a wild mix that you catch yourself wondering who came up with this. Sacred temples, strange tech, creatures that look like they came out of another dream or nightmare. Everything blends so naturally that you forget none of it should match. The pace never stops. You take 2 steps and another fight is already calling your name. You try, die, return. It's that delightful suffering loop gamers pretend they don't love. The bosses are ridiculous, creative, stunning to look at, and awful to face. Each one makes you think, okay, that must be the last one, and the game immediately proves you wrong. The story is simple, but works, with that mystical touch that keeps you curious. Nine Souls is exactly that. Fast, stylish, challenging, and made for players who enjoy suffering with elegance. Atlas Fallen is the kind of game that gives you absurd power right away and basically asks, are you using this with style or are you just embarrassing yourself? Here you glide across sand like someone waxed the entire desert. It's fast, smooth, and so satisfying that you end up running around just to see the animation. And when combat kicks in, everything becomes shiny chaos. Combos, massive hammers, aerial strikes, and that pure joy of blowing up sand monsters the size of buildings. The world is large, full of ruins and creatures that look carved out of anger. You look around and think, should I even be here? The answer is always no, but you push forward anyway. Missions are straightforward, the pace is quick, and the game keeps pushing you ahead. Exploration works well, and the sense of speed carries half the fun. It's the kind of game that rewards momentum. If you stop, it feels like you're playing wrong. The bosses are huge and love smashing you without a hint of mercy. Every fight becomes a show of particles and acrobatics that makes you question whether your PC or console can handle it. The story is simple, but gives you a solid reason to keep beating up giant monsters, and the characters have that casual charm that keeps things light. Atlas Fallen isn't complicated. It's action, sand, and stylish destruction, and sometimes that's exactly what we want. It takes 2 starts in that way that catches you completely off guard. You think you're about to play just another cute co-op game, and suddenly you're arguing with someone because they missed the simplest jump on Earth. And the game loves that. It throws you into scenarios so creative you end up laughing, complaining, and wondering, how does this even exist? Every stage invents a new idea, switches everything up, and leaves you with that feeling that the devs simply have no limits. The game never repeats anything. Each area has its own theme, new abilities and challenges that feel like they came out of a chaotic brainstorm. One moment you're fighting bees, next you're playing inside a giant arcade machine. It's so varied you start asking, did they really put all this in one game? They did, and it works better than it should. Co-op is fun, chaotic, and full of I told you to wait moments. The story is simple, but it lands. Light, emotional, and full of metaphors that Dr. Hakim makes sure to throw in your face. The game nudges you from start to finish, but always with humor. In the end, It Takes Two delivers something rare. Pure fun, zero filler, and creativity that never stops. It's the kind of game that leaves you laughing, swearing, and impressed all at once, and that's the magic. Life is Strange begins in a way that's almost too calm, almost innocent. Then out of nowhere you discover you can rewind time and think, okay, that definitely wasn't in the student handbook. Max, the protagonist, tries to understand her powers while dealing with the emotional chaos of teenage life. And the game throws you right in without asking, just expecting you to make choices that you'll probably regret later. The big turning point is when Max reconnects with Chloe, her childhood friend. Together, they start investigating Rachel Amber's disappearance, a case everyone in town seems to avoid. The more you dig, the more you realize Arcadia Bay has way too many secrets. And every time you use your powers to fix something, the same question hits. Did I just break something else? And yes, you did, almost always. The game holds everything together with strong characters, natural dialogue, and that indie soundtrack that kicks in right when you're already emotional. The story deals with friendship, loss, guilt, choices, and consequences, all wrapped in that small-town vibe where nothing happens until everything happens at once. Life is Strange isn't just about rewinding time, it's about dealing with what doesn't come back, and that's why it sticks with you long after it ends. A Plague Tale: Innocence starts like a normal day in medieval France. Sun, forest, quiet atmosphere, and within 5 minutes, everything turns into a nightmare worthy of a Dark Souls boss. You control Amicia, a teenager who clearly didn't ask to be the protagonist of anything, let alone a story full of rats, plague, and malicious people. And she still has to protect her younger brother, Hugo, adorable, fragile, and always ready to complicate your life. The story is heavy, but extremely well done. Amicia and Hugo flee from the Inquisition while trying to understand the boy's strange illness, and each chapter throws you into a place worse than the last. Ruined castles, abandoned villages, creepy labs, all with that constant question, why are there so many rats here? And they're not normal rats. They're waves, swarms, tsunamis of evil fur that devour anything in their path. It's desperate and brilliant at the same time. Gameplay mixes stealth, puzzles, and pure survival instinct. You use light, fire, and a lot of creativity not to become dinner. The atmosphere is insanely good, with dark environments and a tense soundtrack that makes every hallway suspicious. A Plague Tale: Innocence delivers emotion, drama, and a journey full of moments that stick in your mind. It's not just about running, it's about protecting someone when everything around you wants you dead. The first Berserker, Khazan, has that energy of, man, why is this guy so angry? And the deeper you go, the more you realize Khazan isn't just angry, he is anger with a sword. The game throws you into the life of this warrior who's been destroyed, betrayed, and humiliated, and you feel his frustration like someone deleted your 100-hour save. It's heavy, but in the best way. The story follows Khazan trying to reclaim his honor after being accused of crimes he didn't commit. He became a monster in the eyes of the world, but you know that behind all that brutality, there's someone completely broken. And yes, that adds a strong emotional layer. Meanwhile, combat is a spectacle. Heavy hits, precise dodges, and enemies who look like they've been doing CrossFit while you were sleeping. Each fight makes you wonder, do I actually know what I'm doing, or am I just button mashing with hope? The atmosphere elevates everything. Dark settings, grotesque creatures, and a world that feels like it gave up ages ago. And in the middle of all that, Khazan keeps going, spitting blood and sheer willpower. It's visceral, aggressive, and stylish in a way that makes you want to try just one more time. The first Berserker, Khazan delivers raw action, honest drama, and a protagonist carrying more emotional weight than the sword, and the sword is enormous. Pacific Drive gives you the kind of mission that makes you think, did I really agree to get into this old car and explore a paranormal zone? And that's exactly what hooks you. Your car isn't just a vehicle, it's your partner, your shield, your best friend, and sometimes the reason you yell at the screen. Every weird engine noise makes you ask, is that mechanics, or is something trying to kill me from the inside? The story revolves around the Olympic Exclusion Zone, a place full of anomalies that ignore any logic, a living fog here, a crazy magnetic field there, objects flying around just because, and you trying to escape while patching the car with duct tape and technical prayers. That feeling of surviving together with the car is real. It breaks, you fix it. You mess up, it holds on. It's almost a toxic relationship, but one you can't leave. Gameplay mixes exploration, improvisation, and light panic. You step out of the car and instantly feel the world trying to swallow you. Get back behind the wheel, and it's like the game sighs in relief along with you. It's creative, immersive, and full of those how did I survive that moments. Pacific Drive is about trusting the unexpected, embracing chaos, and treating your car like a giant traumatized dog because it's the one carrying you to the finish line. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is the kind of game that looks you in the eyes and says, are you really ready to feel all of this? And the answer is usually no. Senua carries so much pain, fear, and courage that you feel the weight with her. The voices in her head talk to you non-stop, question everything you do, and even mock you when you mess up. And then you wonder, am I playing a game or participating in some kind of mythological therapy session? The story follows Senua on a brutal journey to save her beloved soul, facing gods, visions, and demons that may be real or not. Every step feels like an internal war. Every encounter hits emotionally. The game doesn't use cheap jump scares. It uses atmosphere, sound design, and that uncomfortable feeling that someone is breathing right behind you. And yes, sometimes you look over your shoulder just to make sure no one is there. Combat is simple, but full of impact. Every hit sounds heavy, every dodge feels like a breath of relief. And while the action unfolds, the voices keep commenting on everything, like invisible critics judging your reflexes. The world is beautiful and horrifying at the same time, full of symbols, darkness, and lights that feel alive. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, is more than a game. It's an intense emotional experience that grabs you, shakes you, and stays in your head for days. Sifu stares at you with that irritating confidence, like it knows exactly how many times you'll fall before learning anything. You take the first steps thinking everything's fine, and seconds later you're getting beaten by 3 enemies at once, wondering, man, who trained these people to be this fast? Every mistake becomes a slap in the face, literally, and on top of that, you age, just to reinforce that stubbornness has a price. The story is simple but heavy. You're on a revenge path, and every boss is a walking trauma. They're not just challenging, they're stylish, creative, and fully capable of destroying your dignity in 2 combos. And the game always makes you ask, am I dying because the boss is hard or because I was too stubborn? And the answer is almost always the second one. The combat is the heart of everything. Fast, technical, precise. You dodge, block, counter, and feel every impact. When everything lines up, it looks like a movie scene. When it doesn't, it looks like a TikTok fail compilation. The soundtrack, visuals, and pacing make everything cinematic, like you're starring in your own martial arts film. Sifu doesn't forgive, but it rewards persistence, and when that impossible fight finally collapses, the feeling is simply unreal. Evil West greets you without warning, already throwing a giant vampire in your face like it's perfectly normal. You look at your character, look at the monster, and think, man, what kind of training makes someone relaxed about this? And the best part is that he doesn't just face it, he charges in with a mix of confidence and violence that would make even the Doom guy raise an eyebrow. It's pure action, no nonsense, no time to think too hard. The story keeps that exaggerated vibe from start to finish. You're part of a monster hunting organization, and your mission is to stop demonic creatures from taking over the Wild West. Yes, it's cowboy fist-fighting vampires. Yes, it works perfectly. And the more you progress, the more the game asks, you ready for this, or just gonna scream and shoot? The narrative is simple but fun, full of characters who feel like they came straight out of an action comic. The combat is where everything shines, fast, heavy, and filled with hits that make you feel like a walking tank. The electric gauntlet becomes your best friend. The guns complete the chaos, and the finishers, man, pure therapy. Visually, the game has that gritty, fire-lit, blood-soaked style with environments packed with personality. Evil West doesn't try to reinvent anything. It just wants to deliver raw fun, that delicious brawling that makes you smile while wondering why don't more games do this. Kingdom Come: Deliverance is the kind of game that looks at you and says, you want realism? Fine, take this miserable life here. You start as Henry, a regular guy who is clearly not prepared for anything, not even holding a sword properly. And then the game asks, how do you plan to save a kingdom if you can't win a bar fight? It's all about learning the hard way, messing up, getting beaten, and praying not to embarrass yourself in front of the guards. The story follows Henry trying to rebuild his life after losing everything, and that adds a lot of emotional weight. You feel his desire to improve, to take revenge, to prove his worth. And the world supports that with a medieval setting, so detailed it feels like an interactive documentary. No magic, no dragons, no shortcuts, just dirt, politics, hunger, exhaustion, and that moment where you wonder, was being a knight really this hard? Combat follows the same realistic logic, no swinging your sword like an anime hero. Here you aim, calculate, observe, and hope you strike first. It's tense, technical, and incredibly satisfying when you finally get the hang of it. The world is beautiful and raw at the same time, full of villages, forests, and castles that feel ripped from a history book. Kingdom Come: Deliverance is about growing, learning, and insisting, and realizing that every small victory is worth the entire struggle. Lies of P doesn't waste time judging you. You take 2 steps and already understand that this world is not your friend. Everything is elegant, eerie, and full of that gothic charm that makes you think, Should I really look this stylish while dying to a 2-ton robotic dog? And somehow, it works. This Pinocchio isn't made of wood. He's practically a runway model fighting for his life. The story drops you into Krat, a city overrun by deranged puppets and secrets nobody wants to talk about. And the deeper you go, the more you realize everyone lies, including you. The connection to the original tale is clever, full of references, and constantly making you wonder, is this a coincidence or did they want me uncomfortable? Every character carries their own drama, every decision has weight, and the melancholy keeps pulling you deeper. Combat is the main attraction. Precise, fast, and packed with impact. You swap weapons, combine styles, tweak pieces of your mechanical arm, and try to look like a master while dying, trying to figure out the right parry timing. When you nail it, it's glorious. When you miss, it feels like the game gives you that "did you seriously do that" look. The style is insane, the soundtrack is tense, and every boss feels like a nightmare crafted by an artist with too much elegance. Lies of P delivers style, challenge, and that delicious, hard-earned victory feeling only a good Souls-like can give. And that's it, 20 AA games that would leave plenty of AAA titles sitting in a corner reflecting on their choices. If you enjoyed the list, drop a like because it really helps the channel grow. Now tell me in the comments which AA game did I miss that completely humiliates AAA releases without even trying. If you're new here, subscribe so you don't miss the next lists. There's a lot of good stuff coming. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.